Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we're going to talk about the most common lie that I feel avoidants tell you and that you believe. And the lie is that you guys are just friends. This is the most common lie that I've seen in consultation calls with you guys. As the viewers, you guys who watch my channel and those who comment, all of you guys in collection, this is the most common one. If you want to book a consultation call with me, that's pinned in the comments. If you want to email me, rather, if it's easier for you or in your means, that's also in the comments. But I want to talk about this lie because it is just running rampant and it's confusing everybody, and obviously that makes sense. And so I want to make a video to clarify that so that you guys don't get so confused. Okay, so yes, it is a lie. Sometimes they don't even mean to lie to you. I'm just calling it a lie because it's not real and you guys are believing it. So that's the word we're going to use today. Okay, so basically the situation is you guys are calling each other just friends, or they say we're just friends, but you're basically functioning as a version of a relationship. Okay, so you're not just friends. People don't do what you guys do in a relationship. You guys are intimate with each other. You guys are hanging out very frequently. You guys have had a bond for many years, an off and on bond. Some of you guys have lived together sometimes. You guys stay over at each other's houses sometimes. You guys open up about feelings together. There's a lot of emotions involved. Maybe there's some romantic chemistry that you can feel. And so you know that you're not just friends, okay? But it's basically a relationship to some extent without a label. Some of you guys, and I'm not trying to call anyone out specifically, but some of you guys have had calls with me and you're like, yeah, we've been doing this for like 7 years, but there's no label. And sometimes you call each other friends, but you literally are like in a actual like relationship. Like anyone on the outside, including me, would say that's a relationship, but you're just working under the word friends. And so the reason why this is very important is because I want you guys to know this is happening so that when you're ready, you can challenge this idea. You don't have to do it right away, but it's really important for you so that you don't get too triggered, because a lot of times what happens is when you get triggered, you believe their lies and then you guys get into this cycle which pushes them away, tries to make you push forward, and then it just makes the relationship even worse. But if you stay stable, regardless of the way they're acting, they will calm down their triggers and be more likely to be more receptive when you guys reintroduce or introduce labels in the relationship or even marriage, okay? And so the first reason why this even happens, okay, is they're actually afraid to tell you. This is the most common reason. That's why I put it in the front. They're afraid to tell you there is attachment or something more because they're just afraid that you'll keep asking for more. And by you asking for more, it increases the chance of them failing at whatever you're asking. So let's say they say, okay, fine, we're in love with each other. I love you, you love me. Now you're going to say, okay, maybe you can come to my cousin's wedding with me now that we're in love. And they're like, oh, but I'm not good with socialization, or I don't like weddings, or I don't want to meet your cousin yet. All these things. And now if they say that, you're going to get mad. Not that you would. This is their fear. And they're thinking, okay, great. Now I failed. Now I'm not that good of a boyfriend. Now I'm not that good of a girlfriend. Now I'm not a good lover, and I can't do relationships. I knew it. I'm a bad person. I'm a failure. I'm defective. So that's what they're going to feel. I'm defective. There's something wrong with me. And your reaction might be normal. Oh, why not? Why don't you want to come to my wedding? And perhaps you're a secure person, so that's a very normal step. But they are not secure, not yet. And so it's going to have that clash, okay? Another example could be that you're like, okay, we love each other. We're in a relationship. When do you want to move in together? We've been together for 3 years. My lease is up at the end of summer. Do you want to move in with each other? And they might say, well, I like my space. I don't want to give it up. I really enjoy this. Maybe they used to be divorced at one point. I mean, they are divorced and they want to be free. They don't want to be tied down quite yet. That marriage was really hard. And so they have all these ideas as to what moving in means. And it's a lot of barriers, whereas it might be very different with you. But the reality is that they probably want to do that step, but just not when you want to do that step. And so they're afraid that if they say, hey, I'm not ready for that, you're going to crash out, you're going to react poorly, and they don't want to lie to you because they care about you, but they also don't want to disappoint you because they care about you. So avoidance, they're going to avoid all of those negative, uncomfortable feelings and just say, okay, the best way is just to say we're friends. Then you don't need to have expectations for me. Then I don't need to fail you. Then you don't need to hate me. Then you don't need to leave me, okay? So that's one. The other reason is that avoidants are very guarded, just in general. So many of them, once they give themselves to a relationship, they fall pretty hard. And so they're very afraid, especially if they've been burned before, particularly fearful avoidance. Fearful avoidance, they fall really hard typically. They get very attached really, really easily. But a lot of times what happens is this has burned them before. If you are with a fearful avoidant and they have been divorced before or they've had a failed relationship, this is a pretty good example of this. They're really afraid. Like, just that's the best way to put it. They're very guarded, they're very afraid. And if they label the relationship, it's like letting you know that they're attached to you. That means that you can hurt them the way someone else has hurt them. You can use that, not that you would, to your advantage. It happened in their childhood, it happened with their ex-wife or their ex-husband. And they are so afraid that you could do that, that they won't even tell you the truth of how they feel. They will deny it even, okay? And so this is a pretty common reason. Like I said, a little more common with fearful avoidance, but it happens with both. And this is very triggering. So sometimes what you can do is you want to remain neutral externally. You don't want to feed their triggers. You want to challenge them slowly, which I've made videos on, and you can look back on those. But you want to challenge them slowly, but you don't want to push so hard with this particular one, especially fearful avoidance, because they will shut down and just run away. Dismissive avoidance might be a little bit more combative, to which the relationship might be more like will have more fights. And then fearful avoidance, they might just run away. And then when you initiate, they will come back and they'll act like it never happened. And so this one you need to be very careful about. You can be slow and you want to make progress slowly. So you might not want to start with a label. You might want to start with having phone calls. You might want to start with maybe meeting a little bit more often. And then you can start with a label, okay? The next one is they're afraid to disappoint you in general. This is similar to the one we first mentioned, but it's just in general. Even if it has nothing to do with your increased expectations, they might have thoughts like, what if some days I'm feeling less motivated for this relationship? Does it mean that I failed you? Does it mean I don't like you? Does it mean you don't like me? Does it mean there's something wrong? I don't want to fail you. I don't want to hurt you. And so that's the reason, okay? The next one is they will not label it. Not everyone is like this. This is more common with dismissive avoidance, but they will not label it unless they're absolutely sure. And so absolutely sure can be a very different timeline. Some couples, it might be 3 years. Some, it might be 1 year. Some, it might be 5 years. And so this is something to be very aware of, because if you're seeing progress in general and you see that the relationship is progressing, they're more open to certain things that used to not be open about. This means that trust is building, and actually they are more comfortable labeling that relationship eventually. It's not going to stay this way. I think a lot of people are afraid it's going to stay this way. The most important part is if there's progress. A lot of people ask me, what is a timeline? That is one of the most common questions you guys have, whether you're emailing me or a consultation call. What is a timeline for how long I have to wait? And I always tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, depending on the case, but every case is different. But let's say you guys have been at this for a while and there is some progress. I will say the reality is I think it's still going to take more time. I think it's going to take maybe a couple of years. And it's easier for me to evaluate if it's actually in the call. But remember, I'm just giving an estimate based on the things I've seen. However, I will still be honest and say, but I honestly want to tell you, I think you guys have made more progress than you give credit for. And so I want you guys to remember that. Yes, it may take some time, but it's not going to have the same feeling that it is right now. It's going to feel easier and things are going to get more comfortable, and you're going to get more from your partner as time goes on. Maybe you're going to get labels, more intimacy in the bedroom, and meeting each other more often around the same time. And you're going to start feeling those things slowly. But it's going to happen. It's not going to be that you're going to wait like 10 years for this one thing, and then you're going to have to wait 10 years for another thing. It's not going to happen like that. It's going to be like, once year 4, year 5 comes around, you're going to start seeing even more things just start showing up more and more in that relationship. So let's summarize and we'll wrap it up. They're afraid if they tell you the attachment, you're going to keep asking and they're going to fail. And that's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt them and they're going to lose you. They're very guarded. They're afraid to disappoint you in general. And they're only going to label it when they're absolutely sure. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.